So following on from the first video, let's have a look at what's new in version 3. When you look at the first interface, you'll notice a saved library that's been added. So if we click on it, you can now save your analysis, which saves your video, your drawings, and the phases, so you can always go back to them. You'll notice how you can filter via names. You can add new names in there. The angles, I'm going to show you where they are set up, and you can filter through by date as well. You can also pin the clips to the top. So if you've got like a gold standard you want to always have access to, we'll pin it, and there's an export which we'll go on to later on. If I go back just a level and I go into your settings, you'll see those angles that you might have filmed from. You can customize the name and the number of different angles that you have there, which then feed into the part when you save your video. You can save those angles. You'll notice a couple of other options in these settings: enable golf mode and predictive phase jump. So let's have a little look at those before we carry on. So in the phase setup, which we've already met, you can see how there's a predictive jump pattern on the basis of 30 frames a second. Once you've got your kind of phases that you've put in there, you can then kind of decide what number of frames is kind of standard between those parts, so you can kind of get the gist. So when you add a phase in, it jumps forward that number of frames in anticipation of what's coming next, and then you just have to fine tune it. So you can turn that mode on or off in the settings. And golf mode is like a tempo mode, which we'll go on to in a little bit. So if I was to go back into a saved library, I could go back into a clip that we've already got. You can see that the golf mode is at the top. It puts in a tempo of the backswing to the contact point on the ball again as a measure of tempo, which you can turn that off in the settings if you don't want it. If I go back one stage and I come back into importing a clip in, if I import a clip, I've now got an option to crop that clip, so I only have to insert the actual part that I want. This one's already been cropped, but you get the point. And the settings at the top, we can actually show some video controls where if you wanted to, you can control some of the settings to improve the footage that you've got. You can toggle those and save them as a preset if you want to. So if you've got a darker room, you might want to lighten it up a little bit. So just some controls in there that you can filter through, and that saves onto the video as you come through. Looking back in the saved library, you'll see there's an option at the top to compare, where you can click on two clips. So you select the two and then you click on start compare. And the other way that you can get to that is if we look at the saved library and we click on one of them. Notice the top of the screen, you've got the two screens side by side at the top. You can then say compare to last or compare to library, and you can select the second clip. At this point, it puts the two of them together, so you've got them side by side. You can edit the position, so you can double click to flip a player, and you can see how you've got this little laser tool that draws parts on there. The drawing tools are still there in a hidden palette, so you can hide the tools that have been inherited from the actual analysis, and you can still draw on the various angles if you wanted to draw anything on them. You can click in the bottom left and you can edit the position. So if you click on the one on the left, you can zoom and reposition where you want it. If you click on the one on the right, you can zoom in and reposition the performer on the right, and then you just toggle that back off and you're back able to use those tools. And obviously the haptics, and you can control the phase stuff in the middle and the frame by frame. These have got different frames along the way, so just using the kind of key frames that you put in from before are useful reference points just to toggle through. If you look in the top right hand corner, you've got the kind of ghost mode, the overlay mode that you can use, and at the top you've got a slider where you can slide between the two performers. And if you go somewhere in between, If the bottom left, you can zoom in to an angle, and then you can at the bottom just flick the angle over, and you can try to align. So maybe finding a key phase. So you can kind of try to align the two players up against each other, and then lock it back in place at the bottom left. And then you can always find a key frame, and then you can move and see the difference by sliding across. So the ghost mode or overlay mode is pretty useful in terms of analysis. The export there, so if you click on the export, the little upward arrow, you can export the video and you can export the stills. So you can export those and share those with people. They'll share to a folder or share to social media, etc. So you can get those parts out and away and off your phone.